Australia slams China over unsafe, unprofessional behaviour by PLA. Before we dive in details, please subscribe to the channel and stay always one step ahead to know all global important events happening around you. Give a thumbs up and share the video with your family and friends. Let's move on with the video. Following an unsafe and unprofessional encounter between an Australian naval vessel and a Chinese warship that resulted in injuries to Australian military divers, the Australian government announced on Saturday that it had sent significant concerns to China. The incident happened on November 14th while the long-range frigate HMS Toowoomba was diving in Japan's exclusive economic zone to remove fishing nets from its propellers, according to Defence Minister Richard Marles. While diving operations were underway, a PLAN destroyer, DDG 139, operating in the vicinity close towards HMS Toowoomba, Marles said in a statement referring to a ship of the People's Liberation Army Navy. Soon after, it was detected operating its hull-mounted sonar in a manner that posed a risk to the safety of the Australian divers who were forced to exit the water. A request for response from the Chinese embassy in Australia was not immediately answered. According to the Defence Minister, medical evaluations revealed that the divers' minor injuries were probably brought on by the destroyer's sonar. Australia expects all nations, including China, to operate their militaries in a professional and safe manner, Marles stated, stressing that the government's utmost priority was ensuring the security and well-being of Australian service members. China has become a more active force in the Indo-Pacific area in recent years. In July, it upgraded security ties with the Solomon Islands. In response to China's increasing regional influence, Australia, a strong friend of the United States, held 2 weeks of war simulations with the US involving over 30,000 troops earlier this year. Suddenly, on the horizon, a Chinese warship appeared. Despite being in international waters, the Chinese vessel approached at an alarming speed, its intentions unclear. The Australian crew, trained for such encounters, attempted to establish contact, but their efforts were met with silence. The Chinese warship continued its advance, coming dangerously close to the Australian vessel. The tension on the deck was palpable as the Australian crew prepared for a potential collision. In the face of this impending threat, the Australian divers were hastily recalled. However, the abrupt retreat resulted in injuries to some of the divers, a consequence of the Chinese ship's aggressive maneuvering. The Australian authorities, monitoring the situation from afar, were taken aback by the Chinese vessel's reckless behavior. The encounter was viewed as a serious violation of international maritime laws, and the Chinese warship's actions were deemed unsafe and unprofessional. The incident painted a grim picture of the escalating tensions in the South China Sea. The Australian crew, trained for peacekeeping and surveillance, found themselves in the midst of a dangerous confrontation. The injuries sustained by the divers served as a stark reminder of the real and present dangers lurking in these contested waters. This incident did not go unnoticed. The Australian government was quick to respond. Following the incident, the Australian government didn't hesitate to express their concerns. They promptly communicated their significant worries to China, making it clear that such aggressive and unprofessional conduct was unacceptable. This wasn't a minor dispute to be swept under the rug, but a serious incident that endangered lives and risked escalating tensions between the two nations. The Australian government's response was firm and resolute, underscoring their commitment to uphold international law and protect their military personnel. They highlighted that these unsafe maneuvers not only jeopardized the safety of their crew, but also threatened the delicate balance of peace in the region. This incident has undoubtedly strained the already tense diplomatic relations between Australia and China. The Australian government's strong response sends a clear message to China and the international community about their stance on such matters. it also raises questions about the future of their bilateral relations and how this could influence the broader geopolitical landscape in the Asia-Pacific region. The ripple effects of this encounter are far from over. So, why does this incident matter, you may ask? Well, it's not just about a single encounter in the South China Sea. It's about the ripple effect it creates. This incident underscores the escalating tensions between Australia and China, two countries that are key players in the Asia-Pacific region. It brings to light the potential for minor incidents to snowball into major confrontations, further straining international relations. And let's not forget, this isn't an isolated event. It's part of a broader pattern of increasing hostility and military posturing. The South China Sea, a crucial shipping route and a region rich in natural resources, has long been a hotbed of territorial disputes. The incident also raises questions about the rules of engagement and conduct at sea. It highlights the urgent need for effective communication and de-escalation strategies to prevent future conflicts. Moreover, it's a stark reminder of the delicate balance of power in the region. It has potential implications for the relationship between NATO and Asia-Pacific countries and the role of these nations in maintaining regional security. As the world watches closely, the South China Sea continues to be a stage for geopolitical tensions. The question remains, how will Australia and China navigate these troubled waters?